Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, there can be no better venue than to start this first Prudential Ride London-100 Classic than at the very heart of the Olympic Games at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park. And I'm sure we'll all agree. And I've been to several Olympics. I have no doubt in my mind that it was the best Olympic Games ever. Thank you, sir. On the 4th of August, 20,000 lucky cyclists, or unlucky cyclists, Boris, no offence, 20,000 cyclists. How can this be? 20,000 cyclists will depart between the hours of 6 and 8 in the morning, north of the park, exiting onto the A12. It's the first time the A12 has been totally closed for a duration of about 2 hours, which will enable the easy flow out of the park. It will, what we call, neutralise for about 2 miles before we begin the ride proper itself. And I'll come to the classic element at the very end of this. We go south on the A12 towards the river, joining the 2103 at Tower Hamlets, on through the City of London, passing Tower Bridge and the Tower of London, and many iconic landmarks, all the way down the embankments, all the way through to Northumberland Avenue. We take a northerly route up Northumberland Avenue to Trafalgar Square, out through Pall Mall, onto Kensington and Chelsea, with the Natural History Museum on our right-hand side. We then uniquely have managed to close the Hammersmith flyover because we're on the A4, and that's the first. To cyclists, and it's the only real climb up to that point. If you're struggling, Boris, it is one hell of a drag. We then go through Hammersmith and Fulham, all the way down to Chiswick, over Chiswick Bridge, going south now into East Sheen and entering Richmond Park at Sheen Gate, all the way around the park to what we term now as infamously being called Cancellara Corner, where the Swiss rider of the same name threw away his chances of winning the Olympic road race. Exiting at Kingston Gate, and interestingly, in planning this route with Gary McGowan and Kevin Nash and the whole team that managed to pull this route together, the biggest problem we had was that the outgoing classic riders would contraflow with the incoming 100 riders. And we've just got a short section in Kingston of about half a mile where that will happen. That is a feat in itself, so congratulations to those guys. We go straight through to Hampton Court, over Kingston Bridge, straight through to Hampton Court, and we dip into Surrey at this point. So we're leaving the 13 boroughs of London behind with their closures, dipping into the wonderful county of Surrey. And Hampton Court will be our first hub, which will be the first of 3 business relay handover points. More about that later. At the business relay handover points, the riders at this stage will be able to replenish food, water, any medical requirements they may need at this stage, Boris. And mechanical assistance will be available at these hubs. We then trace the very part of the time trial route that Bradley Wiggins put time into, Tony Martin, the German rider, the Sword members. So we're on the time trial route all the way through to Walton-on-Thames, dropping down into Weybridge very fast at this stage, but nothing too difficult for the riders. And we're now onto the Olympic road race course. Into Byfleet, well on the Olympic road, very, very flat up to this stage. Coming down towards Ripley, over the A3, and this is where it starts to drag, and we're into absolutely stunning countryside towards West Horsley and the Sheepleys. And then dropping down from West Horsley onto the A25, you'll remember the road race turn left here up Staples Lane. We're actually going a little bit further on at this stage, climbing up Newlands Corner, which is a climb of about 15%, and it is the first real test of the whole route. It's a brute about 1.5 kilometres long. But there's refreshments at the top. It's our second hub and the second business relay point of changeover. Again, we'll have all the facilities there to cope with the masses. An amazing descent down the A25 with the Sheepleys to our left, Sheer and Albury to our right-hand side. Very, very fast, long, straight road. Excellent condition. And we're at about halfway before we approach Abinger Hammer. And this, as we turn right towards Holmbury St Mary, is where it really starts to get tough. The roads are narrow, sinewy, completely undulating, not for the faint-hearted, but stunningly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. Dropping down to Forest Green, where the 100 goes left, and if the previous part of the route through Holmbury was tough, when they turn left, they've got a 14%, 4-kilometre climb of Leith Hill. The descent off Leith Hill is absolutely stunning. It's almost like something out of The Hobbit or a Tolkien novel. Massive tree canopy, beautiful, very, very fast, one of the fastest descents. And incidentally, Leith Hill is the highest point in Surrey. It's not Box Hill, it's Leith Hill. Dropping down through Westcott, very fast roads now, back onto the A25, in through Dorking, to the Dorking Cockerel, where we go left onto the road race course, the Olympic road race course again. Up, approaching Box Hill, which is one of the stings in the tail, but not the final nail in the coffin. So up Box Hill, one passage of Box Hill, down through Headley Heath, very fast descent now, getting slightly, the route does start to ease off a little bit. On through Leatherhead, again, the third of our business relay hubs, so another changeover point for the people involved in the business relay to replenish, have assistance, etc. We're very, very fast now, all the way through to Cobham, pausing ever so slightly, Seb, at Chelsea's training ground, to doff our caps and give them our sympathies. Right now, onto the Portsmouth Road, all the way through Esher, fast but difficult. In through Kingston, out through Merton, Rains Park, into Wimbledon, up Wimbledon Hill with the common on our left-hand side. This is the final climb of the whole route. Over the top of the A3, very fast now and flat over Putney Bridge, right the way along the river, the Chelsea embankment, approaching Parliament Square from the south side, northbound up Whitehall to Trafalgar Square, entering through Admiralty Arch, through the centre of the arch, an iconic picture shot. And 500 metres from there, facing Buckingham Palace, will be the finish line. And it is the exact same line that the Olympic road race finish line, but coming in from Constitution Hill. Total closures, one hell of a feat by the guys that did it. Just briefly on the Classic will have a 3.5 to 4 hour window behind. So approximately 12 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon, the Classic, 150 riders, the likes of Mark Cavendish and the Bradley Wiggins of this world, will depart on a route through Westfield and Stratford, deneutralising. They will not start racing until we get to Canary Wharf. They then start racing. They follow the exact same route, but if we drop down to the circuit, the pros will do an additional loop from Forest Green to Ockley. They'll cover that loop 3 times, so it's 3 climbs of Leith Hill before they run through on the exact same route to finish on the exact same location as the 100. Thank you very much, everybody.